Hello, everybody. My name is Tal Sharon. As Daniel said, I'm a managing partner at Equitech. And today we're going to talk about why is Israeli innovation so interesting. So what's all the fuss about? Why do we have so many global entities, financial institutions and others, who are coming to Israel and want to understand a little more about the innovation scene, about the technology that we have there? So in brief, Tal, managing partner, we are at Equitech is a consultancy firm. We are providing service to financial institutions in terms of innovation scouting for them. We map their needs and the requirements. Then we understand what is their next milestones in the next year to 5 years and build some sort of Gantt where we take Israeli companies and implement them. Also working with the startup scene in Israel, we have over 50 companies that we're currently working with. And mapping requirements for financial institutions is not something that's easily done. Every region in the world have specific requirements that we filter. So working in the Israeli industry really helps us get all the traction we need because there are more than 500 startups in Israel only focusing on fintech. That's a staggering amount. So before we start diving into fintech, you need to understand the innovation scenery in Israel. So why the entrepreneurs are so productive? How come there's so many high-tech companies? For example, government. The government is very supportive of R&D, of new technologies. Actually, 20% of our GDP is actually devoted to R&D, which is a staggering number. We don't see it in very often. Implemented a lot of grants, a lot of initiatives to promote startups from Israel globally. Second thing, and I think it's very important, we're a very small country, almost 9 million people. That's practically nothing. I think you have regions larger than that. So saying that, it means that Israel is not really a valid market for a company to promote their product. So when a young startup starts to think about their product, they try to promote what can I solve globally? What is an issue I can solve in Africa and Australia and South America? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Israel. And as a proof for that, we have only 10% of the startups who are actually providing services in the Israeli market. Lastly, and it's very also important, we have a mandatory draft. I don't know if you heard about this, but Israel is surrounded, and not everyone are friendly. So we have a very unique Army and Navy Air Force. So every man and women have to draft for 2 to 3 years minimum, and that builds character. What we see is once you finish the Army, these guys are coming out with entrepreneurship skills that are building their character towards their next venture. It doesn't matter if they're opening a coffee shop or go on a global venture. The idea is they have leadership skills, they have targets that they worked to achieve, they understand what is liability, they had to deal with life-threatening situation. And all these together is what makes Israel a startup nation. So we talked about the startup scene in general and the entrepreneurship in general. Let's dive into fintech. So a little bit about the Fintech Facts. First and foremost, we have over 500 fintech companies in Israel. In Equitech, we're working with academic colleges and institutions to understand really the market, and we've mapped these 500 to its core, so we know which solutions are there in Israel. In 2016, we had $438 million invested in fintech. Now, it doesn't say much if it's a lot or not. I can tell you it was 10% of the amount that was invested in high tech totally, which was 4.3 billion. And I can tell you it was in 36 investments. 30, let's say 1/3 of these investments were in seed A and B. The rest was in growth. Looking at 2017, we had 143 just in the past 6 months, in the first half a year of 2017, with 11 investments. So the average amount have grown, and we see that new fintech companies are sprouting in Israel all the time. We see almost 30 companies a week, from really 2 guys with a laptop to companies in B and C rounds that are ready to go to market. And our core essence is taking them to new markets and opening their channels. Okay, so we talked a little about the startup scene, and we talked why is it so vibrant. What we need to talk is to understand why the Israeli banking system is so supportive of these startups. Because as I started, only 10% are actually providing services to the Israeli market. So how will fintech grow? So the Israeli banking system, there are 5 major players, major banks in Israel. And what you see here is what their total assets in billions of dollars. Now, I know what the total asset of the Polish market banks, but what we see here, $116 billion of Bank Hapoalim, for example. Bank Hapoalim is the largest bank in Israel. And you need to understand, they have about 2 million clients. That's it. So if I'm a startup and I want to work with Bank Hapoalim, the POC will take me as much as it tells me to work with any global bank, here in Poland or worldwide. So, but at the end of the day, I will reach 100%. If I'll reach 100%, I'll reach 2 million clients, which is practically nothing for a company, especially in fintech, where we see that we leave those small margins, if it's in lending or payments or et cetera. So the banks need to be innovative themselves also. So we see on one hand, banks are working to implement new technologies from startups because they are worried of them. There are many startups that are waking up, and every week we see a new startup in fintech. Okay, there's a new problem I want to solve. PSD, great, 10 new companies. So on one hand, they see all these companies and see who do we want to implement. And we'll see in a second that they're actually implementing a lot of companies. On the other end, they're actually developing their own products. So as an end customer in Israel, we enjoy on a monthly basis, new technologies to our own use. It can be customer engagement, it can be a new trading platform, a new way to transfer funds. It doesn't matter. The thing is, we enjoy the competition, and the competition derives from the amount of startups and the scenery of the banking system. Now, each bank here is working on innovation. Each one of them has implemented at least one company, at least one startup, and developed at least one solution for the market. So, Poalim, for example, Poalim is innovation. That's what comes to mind when you say Poalim. Leumi is digital. Phoebe Bank, they're focusing on trading platforms. So they each found their niche or larger niche, and they're focusing in order to transform as much value to their end customers. Let's talk about what had actually been done. So Bank Hapoalim has introduced us Beat. Beat is a cool way to transfer money from one another. Let's say I go to a dinner with a friend and he paid $10 more and I need to pay him back. I'll use Beat. Now, the interesting thing is that Beat is a self-developed program. It's not a startup that they implemented. They actually developed it in-house, which shows great innovativity. It's not a simple thing for a bank with all the trenches and all it's a lot of compliance and a lot of regulation and bureaucracy to build something that will be produced to the end customers. And they did it with Beat. Leumi, have Pepper. Some of you might have heard of it. The first digital bank in Israel. There's a very large consumption if it's a digital bank or a digital product for a physical bank. But the idea is still there. They're trying to connect to the customer in new ways. I don't know if you see that often. We don't. And we see different markets. My partner Nir just came back from China. We were in India just a while ago. We're exploring new markets all the time, learning what the financial industry is doing there in order to bring it home, explain to the startups, and then take them to the financial partners of ours. Third, Benlumi, Phoebe, small bank. Remember, only $32 billion value. They've implemented Advise Me. Advise Me is a new trading platform. It's cool, it's fun, it's very easy to navigate. So the level of implementation we see in Israel is amazing. Even in even in very innovative technologies. Phoebe, for example, they took, it's beautiful to see, they took a startup on blockchain technology, implemented it, and now it's available for the end customer. Blockchain technology not being delivered B2C, but B2B through the bank, not going over the bank. So what we saw in fintech, that a lot of companies are going from B2C, from B2C to B2B, we'll see also in blockchain, which people never thought about this, because blockchain was meant to disturb the banking systems, right? So how come they're working together? Because they understand that these technologies will take them further away, and being innovative will make them sustain longer. So just for a quick wrap-up, because my time is done, and I have so much more to tell you. I mean, the industry is vibrant in terms of banking systems and insurance companies, and everybody are looking for new solutions. We're taking our companies globally. We're here actually as we've built a delegation of 4 companies to bring them to Poland. They're ready to go to market. They're looking for collaborators, and we actually had great sessions with financial institutions here in Poland, and we look forward to have a lot more companies. One second, sorry. A lot more companies, Israeli companies, in the Polish market. So thank you very much, everybody.